Dear learner, welcome in my class of Programming in Java. I am Dr. Ashutosh Kumar Bhatt, Associate Professor, School of Computer Science and IT, Uttarakhand Open University, Haldwani. So today we will discuss about inheritance in Java, superclass and types of different inheritance. So we will discuss all these topics. So why to use inheritance in Java? For method overriding, runtime polymorphism, code reusability. So this is the main focus of today's class, and the different types of inheritance like single inheritance, multiple inheritance, multi-level inheritance and hierarchical inheritance. We will also focus all these topics as well as superclass. So first of all, what is inheritance? So inheritance is in Java is a mechanism in which one object acquire all the properties and behavior of the parent object. So inheritance represents parent-child relationship. So how it happens? So you can see in this example where we have one animal class, and inside this animal class we have the function eat, and inside this eat function we have system.out.println this output statement, and we are printing eating message on this function. So this is first class, and by this animal class we are extending the dog class. So you can see the block diagram of this inheritance in the next slide. So there are many types of inheritance, and see this example where employee is a base class and we are inheriting the properties of employee into programmer class. And again you can see in this slide where class A is a base class and class B is a derived class. So here we are inheriting the property of class A into class B. So this is single inheritance. And another flow chart you can see here, class A, class B and class C. So in this case we are inheriting the property of class A into class B and class B into class C. And the third one, that is hierarchical inheritance, where the property of class A is inherited into class B and C. So basically this inheritance comes from the word inherit. Inherit means the child always inherit the property of his parent, his father. So here in this case also the inheritance where we inherit the property of base class into child class. So this concept, this biological word inherit, the meaning of this biological word, the same thing happens in this computer science also. Means we have the property, when we have many property of base class, so we can carry and we can inherit these property into child class. And sometime suppose there are two child, then in that case the property of base class means parent class will inherit into all its child class, as in this slide where class A, the third diagram, third flow chart, where class A is the base class and class B and C are the derived class. So the property of base class will inherit into both child. So this happens in our life also. The property of our parents inherits all the childs, all the siblings of the same family. So basically this is the meaning of inheritance. So again we are coming on this example where we have animal class. See this example, the animal class is a base class and dog is a derived class. So we are inheriting the property of animal class into dog class. So this way we will use here, we are using here extend keyword to inherit the property of base class. So animal is a base class and we are inheriting its property into dog class. So we have mentioned here extend keyword. So this extend keyword represent the inheritance. So see the another class, dog class, where bark is a function of this dog class, and inside this bark function system.out.println this message is given here, and in this message we have the message which will print, that is barking. And the third class, that is class inheritance example. So inside this class we have mentioned public static void main string args, and inside this main function, first of all we will define the object of derived class. So derived class is a dog class and parent class is animal class. So we will not define the object of animal class, we will define the object of derived class, that is dog class. So D is a object of this dog class and D equals to new dog. So in next line, means in the last line, you can see here D dot bark. So automatically it will execute the function of dog class. Bark is a function of dog class. So D dot bark, it will execute the bark function of dog class, and the same object will execute the base class function also. So D dot eat. However, this eat function is a part of animal class. So we can execute eat function by the object of animal class, but in this case, case of inheritance, the object of derived class will execute the derived class function as well as the base class function. So this is the benefit of one of the benefit of this inheritance. So this is example of single inheritance. So the common property, when we have this hierarchical inheritance, in that case the common property will be saved, only common property will be saved on the base class, and other properties will be saved in the derived class. So this way we can save the memory also, memory of program also. So somehow it will reduce the time of execution, this inheritance. So these are the benefit of inheritance. There are many benefit of inheritance, we will discuss later on the different slides. So this is the example. Again, see the first slide. Inheritance in Java is a mechanism in which one object acquire all the properties and behavior of the parent object. So see the example here. So we are inheriting the property of animal class into the dog class. So in animal class we don't have any variable, we have function but we don't have any variable. So suppose if we have any variable, then we can use these variable into derived class, into dog class also. So this is the benefit of this inheritance. Now some more benefits, as well as we can focus on some topics of this inheritance. So this is method overriding, runtime polymorphism, and code reusability. So this is also example, this is also benefit of inheritance. So one by one we will discuss about all these three method overriding, runtime polymorphism, as well as code reusability. So the properties of object oriented programming language are encapsulation, inheritance, polymorphism, and abstraction, and other benefit also having this object oriented programming language. So inheritance is one of the benefit of object oriented programming language. So this is a strong pillar of object oriented programming language. So inheritance is a very important chapter of object oriented programming language. So we must have to understand this chapter, otherwise we will not understand the object oriented concept. Now see this example also, where we have two classes. The first is employee class, and inside employee class we have the variable salary, its type is float, and the another class, that is programmer class, and this programmer class has the variable bonus and its type is integer. So these are two classes. So you can see these block diagram. So this represent that employee class is inherited into programmer class. So see the program of this. So employee class, where we have only single variable, that is salary variable. See again, employee class has only single variable, that is salary variable, and its type is float. Same thing happens in the program also, where salary is a variable and its type is float, and we have saved 40,000 value inside this salary variable, and this is part of employee class. And see the another class, that is programmer class. Programmer extends employee. So this class, this programmer class, is inherited from the previous employee class. So programmer is a derived class and employee is a base class. Extend keyword is in between these two classes. So it means this extend means we are extending the property of employee class into programmer class. So this extend represent the inheritance. So again see, employee class is a base class and programmer class is a derived class. So, we are writing here programmer extend employee. Again see the line class programmer extend employee, and now inside the programmer class the variable is bonus variable and its value is 10,000, and again we have mentioned public static void main inside this class programmer, and string args we have mentioned, and we will define the object of programmer class programmer. So, the spelling this is misspelled here, programmer programmer, P equals to new programmer, and this P object is defined for the class programmer, and programmer is a derived class. Now, we can use this object for programmer class as well as for employee class, because programmer class is a derived class of the employee class. So, we are writing here system.out.println programmer salary is P dot salary. So, by this we are displaying the salary of base class, P dot salary. Salary is a variable of base class, but we are using this base class variable by the object of the derived class. So, derived class object is capable to use the base class variable as well as function. Now, see another line system.out.println bonus of programmer is P dot bonus. So, by this same object is used for the bonus variable. However, this bonus variable is a variable of programmer class. So, we can use the variable salary as well as variable bonus by the same object, by the single object, by the same object P, and which is the object of derived class. So, it means derived class object can handle base class variable and function as well as derived class variable and function. So, see the output programmer salary is 40,000, it is showing the value 40,000 which is already saved in the employee class, and bonus of programmer is 10,000 which is saved in derived class. So, this is the example, and where you can see the single inheritance also. So, extend keyword indicates that you are making a new class that derived from the existing class. The meaning of extend is to increase the functionality. So, by using this keyword we inherit the base class into derived class. So, always you have to remember that extend keyword is used only for inheritance. So, if any program having the extend keyword, it means we are using the concept of inheritance. In the terminology of Java, a class which is inherited is called parent class or superclass. So, sometimes superclass also we use for the base class, and parent class we can say parent class also, and the new class is called child or subclass. So, new class, that is programmer class, which is child class, or in the Java programming language its name is subclass also. There are three types of inheritance in Java: single inheritance, multi-level inheritance, and hierarchical inheritance. In Java programming, multiple and hybrid inheritance is supported through interface only. We will learn about interface later in the later topics or later classes. We will discuss about this interface. So, this time we are focusing towards this inheritance. So, these three types of inheritance: single inheritance, multi-level inheritance, and hierarchical inheritance. So, we have given you two examples of single inheritance. So, this is the example of single inheritance, where we have one base class and one derived class. So, it means it is single inheritance. And if suppose we have more than two derived classes, like in the second case in the second flow chart, class A is inherited into class B and class B inherited into class C. So, this is multi-level. So, we have different label, class A into class B and class B into class C. So, this is multi-level inheritance, and in case of single inheritance we have only two classes, base class and derived class. And in third one, this is called hierarchical inheritance, where we have class A base class and class B and C are the derived class. So, this is in hierarchy. So, that's why it is called hierarchical inheritance. Now, see two more types of inheritance. This is multiple inheritance, where we have two base classes. In the previous case, we have only single base class. Class A is a single base class and class B and C are to derived class. But here we have two base class, not one base class. Class A and class B are two base class, and class C is a derived class here. So when we are deriving any class from two base classes, then it is called multiple inheritance. See the difference between these two: hierarchical inheritance where we have one base class and two derived class, and just reverse of this hierarchical inheritance, that is multiple inheritance where two base class and one derived class, and combination of all this all four type of inheritance is called hybrid inheritance. At last, the second part of this slide, the flow chart which is given in second half of this slide, that is hybrid inheritance. So in hybrid inheritance is a combination of all four different type of inheritance: single inheritance, multiple inheritance, multi-level inheritance, hierarchical inheritance. So this is combination of all four type of inheritance. So in this case we have class A, class B, class C, class D. So class B is inherited from class A, so this is called single inheritance, and when class B and C are inheriting from class A, then it is called hierarchical inheritance, and when class D is inherited from class B and C, then it is called multiple inheritance. And when class A is inherited from class B and class B inherited from class D, so this is called multi-level inheritance. So the combination of all different type of inheritance is called hybrid inheritance. So these are the flow chart, and now see some more example of inheritance. This is again single inheritance example. So in this example we have class animal class having the function eat, and inside the eat function we are printing the message system.out.println eating message we are printing here. Number 2, class dog extend class animal. So inside this class dog we have the function void bark. So we are printing here system.out.println barking message inside this bark function. And third is class inheritance example. So this is the third class where we are writing here public static void main function is writing here. So string args. So dog class is the derived class, animal class is the base class. Class dog extend animal, it means dog is a derived class and animal is a base class. So we will define the object of dog class. Derived class object will be always object will be defined of the derived class. So dog is taken here to derive the object, to define the object. Dog D equals to new dog. So by this object, by the object of dog class, we will execute the function of dog class as well as its parent class also, animal class also. So D dot bark as well as D dot eat. So both we are executing, both the function we are executing by single object, D object. So D is the object of this dog class. So this is again example of single inheritance. Now see the multi-level inheritance. Another one, that is multi-level inheritance, when we have more than one classes, like here, like in this case, you can see the previous flow chart. Here class A is derived into class B and class B derived into class C. So this is called multi-level inheritance, where we have different labels, multiple labels. So class B is derived from class A, it means it is single inheritance, but same time if we derive class B into class C, then it is called multi-level inheritance. So this is the example. Again you can see here we have changed the name of class animal, which is derived into class dog. Class dog, again see the class inside the class animal we have eat function, the same function as we have defined in the previous slide, and class dog extend from class animal. So here bark function is given, and third class baby dog extend from the dog class. So we are making such a ladder. So this way animal is inherited into dog and dog is inherited into baby dog, and thus finally inside the baby dog we have void v function, and inside the beep function system.out.println weeping message will be displayed. So we have these three classes. So this is the example of multi-label inheritance, and finally we have class inheritance example 2 and class inheritance example 2. Inside this class inheritance example we have public static void main string args. So always we must have to write this statement in case of void main function. So now we will define the object of the outermost class with sub and subclass. So baby dog is the final class, because baby dog is extending from the dog class and dog class is extending from the animal class. So the final class, that is baby dog class. So we will define the object of the final class baby dog class. So D is the object of baby dog class, and baby dog D equals to new baby dog, and D dot weep, D dot bark, and D dot eat. So same object is taken for this baby dog class function as well as dog class function as well as animal class function. So the last class which is finally extended from the previous classes, so this class object will execute all the function of previous classes, all the parent classes. So this is the benefit of this multi-label inheritance, and we don't have to define multiple object. We are not defining any object of dog class, we are not defining any object of animal class, we just defining the object of baby dog class. So by this single object we are running all the function, all different classes function by this single object. So this is multi-label inheritance. Now see the another example where hierarchical inheritance example. So in this case animal class is a base class and dog and cat are two derived class. So see the example of this flowchart hierarchical inheritance where class A is a single base class and class B and C are two derived class. So same thing applied in this example. So here class animal is a base class and the class animal is derived into dog class as well as cat class. So see the example, class animal, inside the animal class we have eat function, and now see the dog class extend animal as well as class cat extend animal. So both classes are extending from the animal class. So one base parent class and two derived subclasses are here, dog and cat class. So inside the dog class we have function bark and void bark system.out.println barking message is there, and the another function that is meow function, and inside this function system.out.println meowing message is displayed by this line. And see the final class, that is inheritance example 3, and inside this class public static void main string args. So inside void main we will define the object of both cat class and we can define the dog class object also, but here we are defining only the object of cat class. So C is a object of cat, C equals to new cat, and by using this object we are running the function of cat class, that is meow function, as well as base class function, that is eat function. And if we have to execute this dog class function, so we must have to define another line, we must have to write another line dog D equals to new dog, and by using that D object we will execute bark function as well as eat function. So this is the example of hierarchical inheritance. So this is the third type of category. Now see the inheritance, same hierarchical inheritance, one more example of this same hierarchical inheritance. So this is again one more example where interest class, that is base class, and this interest class is inherited into simple class as well as compound class. So we can execute simple interest as well as compound interest by this example. So interest class having the variable P, R and T. P relate to principal amount, R means rate of interest, T means time. So inside this interest class we have public void input and this input function, and here inside input function we have P, R and T. We have initialized the value of P is 10,000, rate of interest 10% and time 3 years. And now see the simple class which is extending from the interest class. So inside the simple class we have the variable private float si. So only one variable is given here. However, the variable prt is mentioned in the superclass, parent class or superclass. So it is called superclass as well as parent class. So interest is a parent class. So only si variable is defined in the derived class. And we have one more function, process function, where we are processing as well as printing. So inside the process function we have si equals to p into r into t divided by 100, and finally by writing the system out dot println simple interest we are printing here. Simple interest si is a variable. And this another class, that is compound class, which is also extending from the interest class. So simple class is all extending from interest class, as well as compound class is also extending from the interest class. So this is hierarchical inheritance. So inside this compound class we have another variable, that is float ci, and the same PRT we are using here, p principal amount, rate of interest and time, and these three variable also be used in simple class. So how we are using these two variable? Because of we have defined these three variable p, r and t into the base class. Here we are using the concept of inheritance. Suppose we are not using the concept of inheritance, in that case we must have to define these three variable into simple class as well as in the compound class. So by using inheritance facility we can save the memory, because we have defined common variable into base class. So rather than defining again and again into two different classes the value of p, r and t, we are defining only one time in the base class. So that's why we have managed and we have arranged that one base class and other derived class. So compound class we have only single variable, and base class we have three variable, and the same way in the simple class we have only one variable. However, in the base class we have three variable. So these three variable are copied, these three variable are shared into simple class, and these three variable of interest class are shared into compound class. So this way we can save the memory as well as time of the execution. So ci equals to compound interest equals to p into 1 plus r upon 100 to the power t and minus p, 1 plus r upon 100 to the power t minus p. So this is the formula of finding compound interest, and by writing this statement system dot out dot println, by we are printing the value of compound interest ci. So this is again program of the hierarchical inheritance. Now see one more program. This is the second part of this program. This is the first part where interest is a base class and simple and compound are two derived classes, and we are executing this one by this class result. So this is the final class, result class, and public static void main string args, and inside this we have defined the object of simple class, simple s equals to new simple, s dot input, s dot process. So you can see here input function is in base class and process function is in derived class, simple class. So by using the object of simple class we are running both classes, and see again compound c equals to new compound. Now this c object, by using this c object, c dot input, c dot process. So input is a base class function and process is a derived class function, derived class function which is compound class. So the same function, input function and process function. So we have mentioned, we have colored it red color. This input is in red color, that is base class function, and the process is a derived class function. So in previous slot we have s object of the simple class. So s dot input, s dot process, and the second part where compound c is the object of compound class. So c dot input means it will execute the input function, same input function will be executed, but the process function is entirely different, because inside this c process function we have different method, different formula. So see the process function of compound class. So this is ci equals to p into mat dot power 1 plus r upon 100 comma t, and minus p, minus principal amount. So this is the example of hierarchical inheritance. Now superclass. So always the base class is called superclass. In Java the base class is called superclass. So in this case you can see all these diagram. So A is a superclass and class B is a derived class. in all cases A is a superclass, it is called the base class. So here in case of multiple inheritance, class A and class B are both are superclass. Class C is a derived class. So but in the previous example only class A is a superclass. So base class is called superclass, and so this is the example here, superclass. So see one more example here, class AAA is inheriting to class BBB. So class inside class AA we have only single variable integer A, and we have constructor and default constructor where we are initializing the value of A into 0, and second one is the parameterized constructor where we are passing A1 into variable A. So A equals to A1, and finally we have display function system.out.println. By using this display function we are printing the value of A, and the second class is class triple B, which is extend from class AAA. So here the variable inside this class BBB, that is integer B, and its constructor is here. So integer x and integer y are two arguments to this constructor. So in the first constructor, first class constructor, we have only one argument. Here in the second class, class BBB, we have two arguments, and we are passing two arguments x and y to this constructor triple B class. So the triple B is a constructor of this class. So we are passing x and y two variable. So here the x will be transferred to the base class constructor because we are writing here super x. So this x will be transferred, super x, as well as we write here, as with this statement will occur super x. So automatically it will execute the constructor of class AAA, parameterized constructor of class AA, where we have only one argument. So this super x means x will be transferred to the A1, and A1 is transferred to A. So x, the value of x means first argument. So it will be passed to the variable of first class, and the second one, the second variable, that is y, it will transfer to the B variable. So this way, by writing this statement, by writing this constructor of, by using this second class constructor, we can initialize the variable of derived class as well as super class as well as base class, and then we have one display 2 function, and here we are printing the value of B, and previous display 1 function we are printing the value of A. So now these are two classes, class AA and class BBB. Now we have to consider its main function. So see the third class, that is test class, and we have public static void main string args, and here we are defining the object of derived class. We will not define the object of class AAA, we will define the object of class BBB. Derived class object will be defined always. So this we have to remember that always we have to define the object of derived class. So this K object is defined, the object of derived class BBB K equals to new BBB. So here we are passing two arguments 5 and 7. So this 5 will be transferred to x and 7 will be transferred to y, and finally this x will be transferred to the through super keyword, it will be transferred to the constructor of previous class, and where it will transfer to A1, and finally A1 will be transferred to A, and the second variable means this 7 will be transferred to the y, and this y will be copied to the v variable. So this way 5 and 7 will be transferred to x and y, and k dot display 1, k dot display 2. So we have two functions, display 1 which will print the value of x, and display 2 which will print the value of y. So this is the example of super, and this is the example. Now see this slide where we are writing the example of overriding. Overriding means the same function. Overloading and overriding are two different things, and they are entirely different. In case of overloading, we have to define the function in same class, same name function in same class, but their number of argument will be differ in all function. Name will be same, but number of argument and return type will be different. But in case of overriding, the function will be same in derived class as well as in base class. So overriding happens in case of inheritance. So here see the example where we have two class, one is ABC class and another one is the subclass. So ABC class is a base class that is also called superclass. So inside this ABC class we have a one variable x variable, and see the constructor of this ABC class, and we are passing here x argument, and this x is transferred to the x variable of ABC class. So that's why, because we have argument is x and the variable of ABC class is also x. So how we will differentiate these two variable, because the name of both variable are same. So this dot x means x of this class, x of ABC class. So this dot x equals to x, and void display, inside the void display we are printing the value of x, system.out.println super x. And the second class, that is subclass, which extend from the ABC class. So here another variable y, and here we have constructor with two argument. So first argument x will be transferred to base class constructor through this super keyword, super x, it will super x. So x will be transferred to the base class constructor, ABC constructor, and this x will be transferred to the x of ABC, and finally this will transfer to the x variable of ABC class, and the second variable y will be transferred to the y variable of subclass. So this is another example, and here overriding, now see the overriding. So display function is in ABC class, and the same display function is in this second class, that is subclass also. So in subclass you can see the same name variable void display, but the previous display where we are printing only one value, x value, and in case of this second display function, second display means display of subclass. So in this display function we are printing the value of x as well as the value of y. So this is the difference between two display function. But when we will write this final class xyz and public static void main string args, when we will define the object of derived class is a subclass, and subclass object is s1 equals to new sub, 100 and 200 are two argument which is passed to the variable x and y. So when we will write this statement, and when we will write s1 dot display, then it will display the object, this s1 object will execute the display function of derived class, not base class. Derived class is this subclass. So it will execute the function of this derived class. So this is called method overriding. So you can implement in it and you can execute it, then you will find the two value x and y both will print, and not single value x will not print. Super x equals to x, it will not be printed, only it will print both values, super x equals to plus x and super y, sub y. So it will print both x and y value. So this is the example of method overriding. So finally this after listening this lecture, learner, you will understand the main region of inheritance. This is learning outcome of this lecture, and the benefit of inheritance, code reusability benefit of inheritance, types of inheritance, and different types of inheritance like single inheritance, multiple inheritance, hierarchical inheritance, as well as the superclass and its implementation. And in next lecture we will discuss about the other factor of this object oriented programming, like polymorphism, like code reusability and other also. Thank you very much.